would like to thank everybody for coming, of course. And obviously a lot of people came a long distance. We are very appreciative, but we are most appreciative of Wayne and Julie Gutch, who I have to say have been so kind, so generous, and they have made us feel like family, and we hope they accept us as their family, because that's how we feel about them. Now, a couple of my friends had mentioned, you know, Wayne's in pretty good shape, and in fact they said, you know, looks like Wayne probably still has a six-pack. And I personally, I don't like to brag on myself. I don't like to like top people. But I have a keg. It's taken years of training, and well, I certainly hope it shows. I don't know if everybody noticed at the church the absolutely beautiful bridal party. The bridesmaids were stunning. And I happen to be partial to blondes, so on the groomsmen, Laz, unbelievable, really. You caught my eye, I can't, I'm only human. So it was very, very impressive. I think what I need to do is go back to about a year ago, when Ryan and Steph took a vacation to Ireland. And as it turned out, I had a very important business meeting over there for golf. Remember, Sue? Remember how important that was? And I was spreading international good cheer, and my group donated apparently thousands of Titleist golf balls to the Republic of Ireland. And we're generous in that sense. So the good news for us was that they had a couple of extra days, and Ryan was nice enough to say, when you're finished, if you don't mind, come down, join us for the last couple of days. We were staying in a phone booth. They're staying in a castle. I'm thinking, what's wrong with this picture? So we come down, and I'm happy to get there. We've got a couple of days. We're going to have a couple of nice days. And of course, Ryan breaks the secret to me. The old crazy romantic, very much like his pop. He said, Dad, this has been so spectacular over here. This is the moment. This is when I think I'm going to ask Stephanie. So Ryan hatched this plan. He said it was not originally thought out, which is common for Gillins. So I said, all right, Ryan, well, what do you want to do? He said, first thing is, I don't have a ring. Again, genius. I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I have another problem. He said, Steph and I we looked at clatter rings, and we said, you know, what do you think of the clatter ring? And Steph said, I'm not Irish. Why the hell would I want that? So plan B was down the drain. But nevertheless, Ryan still forged ahead. So we went out, we had a lovely dinner, and Ryan said, you know, I'm going to have to call Mr. Gutch and ask him. And I wish I could do it in person, but I think we're going to do it now. So I said, that's fine. We had a great dinner, right, Steph? We went out for an after-dinner drink, again, as we like to do. And I was noticing that Ryan was drinking them pretty quickly, which generally is not that unusual. And he looked at me and he said, Dad, would you like another one? And I said, and this is scary, no, why would I? And then I realized Ryan looked at the bartender and said, I'll have another. He had to call Wayne, and I have to say, Ryan was nervous. So he did the job. Wayne, thank God that Wayne said yes. So that was the good news. And then the next night, the plan was I faked that I was tired, which we all know is not true. After drinking Guinness for 5 straight days, of course, I had a lot of energy left. But I said, all right, I'll take a break. They went out to dinner, came back in. One of the most amazing things that happened in my life. Ryan walks in with Steph and he says, Dad, my knee is still wet. And Stephanie says, I'm a gillin. And of course I said, God help you. So a couple of weeks later, we go out to dinner. Ryan said, I'd like to take Brooke, Sue, and you out to dinner. And Ryan is a very big spender. So as we were on the line at the Waffle House, oh, only kidding. We went out to a great dinner, and as we were actually standing on the line, waiting for a table, Ryan asked me to be his best man. And I immediately thought to myself, doesn't he know I'm old enough to be his father? And then, of course, I said for the first time in my life, absolutely nothing. I was stunned. I was... You don't expect it. At least I didn't. Because Ryan has a lot of great friends. He has a lot of people to choose from. And it made me think back to when Ryan was born 30 years ago. And back then, you didn't ask, is it going to be a boy or a girl? You just went with it. Of course, I trained for hours in Lamaze class, or was it Le Mans? I'm not really sure. Anyway, I didn't show up a lot, but when the event was happening, I have to admit, I kind of took a peek around to see what was going on. And as the head came through, I kind of looked at the doctor and he said to me, it's a boy. And I said, Doc, how could you possibly know? I mean, it's, you know, it's not really, everything's not there. He said, by the nose. Sorry, Ryan, I had to get that. And I don't know where you got it, to be honest with you. It's another mystery. It's another mystery of life. But, you know, when you think back to your son and you think back of his life and what happened, and the friends that he met, Ryan has met so many incredible friends that I'm actually taken back. His friends are some of the nicest and the greatest people that I have ever met. I have to say, through high school, through college, really, really outstanding. And then, of course, there was one moment, I have to brag about Ryan's athletic career. Well, it sort of mirrored mine. John Maloney reminded me that I needed to talk about the catch. Ryan played varsity football, and he was one of the wide receivers, and we had a wide receiver who could run a 4.4 40, and we had Ryan. So they were in a game that they were behind by a lot, and they had to score every time they touched the ball in order to win. It was a homecoming game. Needless to say, they made a mistake, and they threw it to Gillin. His only catch, and Ryan broke some tackles, a couple of spin moves, a couple of dance things. Anyway, thanks to John Maloney, who probably gained 478 yards, but and 30 pounds, but that's another issue. But the good news is, instead of giving John Maloney any credit for being the star, they named Ryan, they nicknamed it The Catch. And that is true. That is true until today. Now, Ryan has a catch of a lifetime. And Stephanie, who we are so, first of all, one thing about the Gillins, we marry up. And there's no exception. This could be the top of the heap right here. And one thing about Stephanie, those that know Stephanie, she is not comfortable being the center of attention. And that may be true, and we will not do anything to upset that, except I will tell you, you are the center of attention for this man for the rest of your life. With that, I'd like us to raise our glasses and toast, I think, two of the greatest people in the world, Ryan and Stephanie, for a long and healthy life, and many children, so Sue, quite frankly, is getting a little nervous. Thank you very much.